If you are not yet a member of the Patreon, link is in the description. Please consider becoming a member, as you will have access to many videos you cannot find here on YouTube. This is one of those type of videos where you're either going to gain a lot of subscribers or you're going to lose a lot of subscribers. And I guess we're going to find out together by the end of this video what the outcome will look like for me. We spent quite a bit of time talking about Mr. Charlie Kirk, but we spent very little time talking about the person who is now the CEO of his company, Turning Point USA, Miss Erika Kirk. And I must tell you, it's very early where I am, but I couldn't wait to record this video because I found some very interesting information about Erika Kirk, and I can almost guarantee you by the end of this video, you will find out several things about Erika Kirk that you will not only find interesting, but I guarantee you that you've never heard before. Some of this stuff you've probably heard. A lot of it I can guarantee you have not. And it's videos like this that will further support the claim that a lot of these people, in my opinion, are placed in front of us. We think that they're regular, everyday people, come from good families, work hard to get to where they are, but these people are playing roles, in my opinion. And yes, we've already covered the fact that she was wearing a Freemason ring during her video where she was supposedly or allegedly rubbing the hands of Charlie Kirk in a casket, which I do not believe that was Charlie Kirk. Yes, we've already discussed her very odd and unusual behavior during her tribute video and also during the memorial service. I found her behavior to be very odd, which, by the way, that's not what I wanted. I wanted to go to her video and I wanted to see a woman that was grieving, and I was going to feel really bad, and I hated that she had to go through this. But I went to the video and that's not what I found. It was very odd. I'm not going to ignore my intuition and my human instincts, and everything's telling me that that woman is acting. And it turns out that I'm not the only person that believes that, as many other women and mothers and widows, and not only that, but white widows. For those of you who want to say that it's a cultural disconnect, there are many other white widows that also have watched this video that I have later found out that all feel the same thing. Her behavior was odd, but I digress. We've already discussed Donald Trump's odd behavior, not just on the White House lawn when he was asked about how he was doing less than 2 days after Charlie Kirk was supposedly taken out. And he said that not only is he doing very well, but he immediately deflected to some ballroom that they're building on the White House campus. Not to mention Donald Trump dancing and celebrating on stage at the memorial as if this isn't once again a memorial. But I digress. We're not going to talk about any of that. I have a lot of new information for you, because we've also already covered that Erika Kirk won the 2012 Miss USA pageant, which was owned by Trump, which, by the way, in The Evil Truth Behind the Modeling Industry on Patreon that I dropped several weeks ago, we actually discussed what actually happens to many models, as many models was interviewed a decade ago, and they exposed a lot of the people that assaulted them and what it actually takes to become a top model and to actually win. And how Donald Trump, we also covered in this series, how Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein actually worked in this industry together, both overseeing and hand selecting themselves many of the women that modeled. I want you to keep that in mind for later in this video. But I do want to share that Erika Kirk actually shared on a podcast one time that she not only never competed or participated in any pageants before, but she also never done any modeling at any point in her life until one random day she received an invitation in the mail to start doing it. So the story is something that takes many women years and years and years to perfect and to accomplish. Erika Kirk was able to join and win Miss USA or Miss Arizona within a year or two in the business. Now, once again, in that Patreon video that I dropped a few weeks ago, many of the models talk about how there's only about 1 to 2% of all models, regardless of what they look like, regardless of how good they are, that actually wins. Because it's more than just your performance that gets you there. But I digress, because it gets weirder. Erika Kirk was also a casting director at the same exact time that she was modeling. Now, it's not clear if she was a casting director for Trump or not, but at the same time that all this was happening, she also owned a ministry that partnered with the U.S. military in Romania. And in the same area where they were working, the locals were accusing many evangelical ministries of kidnapping children. Now, that doesn't mean that Erika Kirk did this, and I'm not accusing her of orchestrating these things or being behind this, But it is responsible for me to state that during the same time and the same area that her ministry was working, many of them were being accused of kidnapping and trafficking children. And yes, the responsible thing to say is many locals could be lying. That's true. But these children were being sent to Israel, the UK, and other unknown islands. I also want to state that Erika Kirk also visited the Pentagon in 2012 while she was modeling.
So I've been able to travel to the Pentagon. I've been able to meet General Salazar, who's actually out here in Arizona. And I've also been able to donate a Johnny's Locker to the Sojourner Center, which you're looking at right now.
Wow.
So there's been a lot of things that have been going on, from working in the military to traveling to just being able to get out.
Well, here's another good one for you. Did any of you know that before any of this, any of the pageants, any of the modeling, Erika Kirk, before she was Erika Kirk, was actually an actress on television? Here's a clip from Bravo's reality show, Summer House. Well, how about this? Did you all know that Erika Kirk's mom not only worked closely with the government, but specifically with Homeland Security and the Department of Defense?
Can I ask a question? This might be off topic. How did your mom choose Phoenix?
So she chose to move to Phoenix from Ohio because there was more of an opportunity for a female business owner out here. Especially from the standpoint of she was getting involved with the government, so Homeland Security and Department of Defense. And so she had other business partners that were out here that were already in that industry.
In fact, do you even know who Erika Kirk's parents are altogether? It says here, Erika Kirk's parents are Kent and Melanie Francevy, or Francevy. Kent Francevy was a prominent figure in the defense industry, having chaired Raytheon's Israel division and been involved in significant military projects, including the Iron Dome. Melanie Francevy's background is less publicly detailed, but the family has been noted for their connections to conservative and pro-Israel circles. Erika's upbringing in this environment, combined with her own public roles, has placed her at the center of discussions regarding influence and alleged covert operations. Now, would you look at that? So that means not only was her family, currently her family is very well connected, but they're connected to Israel, the same foreign nation that many Americans are not rocking with right now, including myself. And I guess that could further explain Charlie Kirk's undeniable record over the years when it comes to Israel. I don't think many people ever thought that it was just strictly about the Bible. But this also means that Erika Kirk was successful and a millionaire well before she met Charlie Kirk, because of all these ventures that she was placed into before she met him. And now she is the CEO of Turning Point USA. But let's continue. Did you know that she is actually currently considered the most powerful woman in the country, and many are suggesting that she should run for vice president in 2028 alongside J.D. Vance, as many view Charlie Kirk as a future presidential candidate himself. And it also doesn't help when there are emails going out from Turning Point USA where Erika is stating that she will, quote unquote, carry Charlie's torch. But we'll see. Let's talk about Erika and Charlie's first date. Apparently, it was for a job interview only after a quote unquote close friend recommended that Charlie should hire her as they were celebrating a new Turning Point USA location. This was back in 2018, which is only 2 years after Charlie and Trump started working together on Trump's campaign. Remember, at this time, Erika Kirk had already been working under Trump in the modeling industry. So it would make the most sense to me that either Trump or someone close to Trump recommended Erika.
Storytelling. So we're here at Bill's Burgers in New York City. And right near this very table was the first time Dad met Mama. And I started as a job and I was asking all these questions. Philosophy, religion, Jesus, and then I realized Mama was beautiful and smart and elegant and Christ-like, and so I said, forget this job interview, I want to date you. And I said, I have enough friends, and that's where your journey started.
And I've already covered the weird story of the 72-year-old man that supposedly started Turning Point USA with an 18-year-old Charlie Kirk. after convincing him not to go to college. But I digress. Anyways, Erika has also shared the story of seeing Charlie in Israel. So there's the Israel plug once again. And notice that he looked familiar, but was too afraid to approach him. And then they would run into each other again in America, supposedly. And if I haven't blown your mind yet, keep listening. Did you know that Charlie Kirk's family was closely and heavily tied to Donald Trump as well, as his parents worked really closely in the Trump Tower? It says here, late Turning Point USA founder Charlie Kirk's parents were longtime Trump allies. Charlie Kirk's parents worked with Donald Trump long before the presidency. Unlike their extraordinarily famous son, Charlie's parents did not spend a lot of time in the spotlight. Not much is known about his mother, Kimberly Ann Kirk, but we do know that Charlie's father was Robert K. Kirk, and Robert had a pretty strong connection with Trump long before his son did. It's unclear exactly how Charlie and Trump became acquainted, but it's likely that it was through his father and the work he once did for the Trump organization. Kimberly's career and her affiliations are mostly unknown, while Robert was a businessman who worked as a project architect manager on Trump Tower in New York City. Now, would you look at that? Would you look at that? Once again, as I always say, it's the weird connections. How many people do you know are able to create a multi-million, well over $100 million yearly annual budget organization by the time they're 25 years old? Not saying that it's impossible, not saying it's never been done before, but you have to be connected to the right people. You have to be selected to do these type of things in this world. What we were taught as children, how you can do it and you can make it and you can become whatever you want, it's a lot of stuff that was left out, like privilege, like connections, like being a part of these secret organizations and societies. But not only that, Erika attended a Jesuit university, which is Regis University, located in Denver, Colorado. And her grandfather is a guy by the name of Carl Kenneth Franzvi, who was the vice president of American Banking Note Corporation, which is the same one tied to secure printing and IDs, and was Grand Chief of the Independent Order of Vikings, knighted by the King of Sweden. But we go a little bit deeper. Meanwhile, Charlie Kirk's Turning Point USA UK launched at the Royal Automobile Club under Prince Michael of Kent, Grand Master of Freemasonry. George Farmer, who was Candace Owens' husband, sat as chairman, tied to Andrew Tate long before Candace. So it begs to differ, begs to question, is Erika Kirk a CIA Mossad plant cosplaying as a trad wife that was hand-selected to be Charlie Kirk's wife? One could even argue similar to how Melania was hand-selected for Mr. Donald Trump himself. But I'm not done. The biggest red flag, in my opinion, whether you all agree with me or not, is Erika Kirk and Charlie Kirk's children. Now, I noticed this before, but it's really stood out to me since. Can anybody, anywhere, on any platform, Google, Instagram, YouTube, interviews, can anybody find a solid photo of what Erika and Charlie Kirk's children looks like? Yep, you heard me right. Because that matters. Because you have some people who are going as far to say that they believe that this Erika Kirk and this Charlie Kirk relationship was completely arranged, and that they probably weren't together like the public thought that they were. Much like how a lot of celebrity relationships are arranged to make power couples, to bring in more fans, more attention, a better dynamic, because whenever you have a spouse, it just looks better. Sort of how that works in the industry, in the music industry or in Hollywood. What makes it any different here? I went to Erika Kirk's Instagram, and just about everywhere I went to look, it's very difficult to find any photo, not only of their children, whether they're in interviews, whether they're out to eat, whether they're at the zoo, whether they're walking in the park, they always have their children's face hidden. But it's also very difficult to find any pictures of Erika Kirk pregnant. Even though it's easy to fake pregnancies, it was very difficult to find that. Now, for those of you who want to be devil's advocate, you're going to say, well, I mean, a lot of parents do that, right? Like, I know for a fact, J. Cole, the rapper J. Cole, it's very difficult to find his children anywhere on the internet as well, right? But I think you can find one or two photos of what they look like. It's because he wants to keep his children out of the spotlight. He don't want to ever use it. He's talked about this in his music over the years. He does not want his children to be used to gain attention or sympathy or more fans. He wants people to like him for his music or dislike him for his music. He don't want to use his family for that reason. Are you all going to make that same argument for a person like Charlie Kirk and Erika Kirk, who encourage people to get married, have children, build a legacy? You're going to not show what your children look like? And it's very, very orchestrated. In every video and photo, they go out their way to make sure their children's faces is completely turned. They'll cut the video short before their child's face is shown. That's weird to me. That's weird to me. Now, for those of you who want to say, all right, Didi, what's your point? What are you getting at? Well, I don't fully know what I'm getting at outside of the fact that, once again, there are many more red flags when it comes to this situation. Things aren't adding up, and there's a certain picture that's being painted here. And the more and more we investigate, it's becoming more and more obvious to me that these people that are placed in front of us are not who we think. Even though we want to believe that so badly, they're just not, right? So at the very least, that's what I'm stating. Right? Will I go as far to say that this relationship was arranged? I'm open to believing that. I'm also open to believing that this assassination may have not been an assassination, right? I'm not going to full out come on and just say that as of yet, but I'll include the video that's convinced me that Charlie Kirk may have even been in on it. I'll include that version on Patreon because, of course, for obvious reasons, I can't include that on YouTube. But I will say this, I'll make it free for everybody to watch. You don't have to pay. You just have to become a free member to watch it. So I will include that on Patreon, and you do not have to pay a dime to watch it. But yeah, and I want to state this again. I made a post yesterday. Yes, I'm skeptical of Candace Owens, like many of you are, because she has incredible reach, and you can't get reach like that as we've seen unless you're controlled, right? The Catholicism piece, I don't understand it. It's cringe. It's like I'm with Candace 99% of the things that she talks about, and then she starts talking about Catholicism. I'm like, Candace, stop. Like I start twitching. I'm like, I don't get it. You have a team, the level of research, and you're talking about this Mary stuff. Like, it's odd to me. It's odd. So I'm not saying that Candace Owens is one of us, but I have to give credit where it's due. She's talking about all the things that we talk about on this channel. Freemasonry, Candace has covered that multiple times on her channel. She's talked about Israel. She's talked about the people who run Hollywood. She has talked about it. Yes, sometimes they put people in position to pretend as if they're for us, but they're controlled our position. But typically in those roles, they take us towards the truth, and then they just long enough where we start to trust them, and then they derail. They take us in that direction, or they take us in that direction, or they take us backwards. In my opinion, based on what I've been following with Candace, not only has she continued to go towards I'll put it this way, the same direction I'm going as it pertains to trying to seek the truth, but Candace Owens has also encouraged other people to do their own research and not take her own word. That's not normally what people say if they're trying to trick you. That's all I'm going to say. Y'all up in the comment section, as always, though, give me your thoughts, man. Once again, the uncensored version and the extended version of this can be found on Patreon. I'm Demetrius. I go by Didi. Until next time. Peace. Oh yeah, Didi got a podcast.